This is Orelight. I'm Eustace the Monk. I have a confession to make. I really enjoy building and open world sorts of games. They're some of my favorites. When I saw Orelight, it really piqued my interest. And I saw it... Everyone who uses Steam, they know how they're kind of game pimps. I mean, they really are. They know what kind of games you spend your time on because they're Steam and you're playing them. And they parade other games that are like it a bit like an enthusiastic pimp that knows your type. So they end up, you liked 7 Days to Die? Oh, how about X and Y and Z, and they're in early access too, and they're open world games, and they have a big bust side. Oh, never mind. So Orelight was one of these, and really the best way of putting my experience with Orelight was, for those of you who've seen The Shining, there's a scene with Jack Nicholson where he's in the notorious room and there's a beautiful naked woman there, and she comes out of the bathtub to make love to him, and he stops making out with her just long enough to see that she's actually a disgusting and half-rotted and burned old lady who's cackling at him like a witch. And that's kind of the way it is with Orelight. It looked like a really fun game, and then you stop for 5 seconds. It's, oh god, this is the worst ever. Yeah, I'll be alright. I can't say I made a good purchase, let me just put it that way. First of all, Orelight was created to be a strictly multiplayer game, despite what Steam says about it being a single or multiplayer game. That's a complete lie. This means that in order to play Orelight single player, you have to first create a game server locally and then be the only player playing on it. It's not that hard to do, it's just a pain in the ass, and it creates other problems and annoyances that I'll talk about in a little bit. The game itself is hardly existent right now. You play as a hulking blob person, I guess. He's kind of a creature, I don't know what he is. The only customization available is a color choice, despite the customization the game description promises. I mean, it really kind of promises the moon and the stars when it comes to customization options. But you can only pick your color, at this point anyway in development. So I picked green, because why not? Green blob person. You're unceremoniously dumped in the middle of a randomly generated grotto. And there's this annoying firefly buzzing around your head for reasons I don't know. I guess he's a light source for you. All you have is a cheap sword. Another blob person named Sven, who follows you around, and he helps out a little bit, but he pisses off at like the worst times. I guess he's like a sidekick or something. He's actually pretty powerful fighter, but he's the kind of rotten, shitty sidekick that buggers off when you wander too far from your starting point and when you really need him the most, because your starting point is notoriously free of any kind of creatures or anything to fight, so having Sven close to you at your starting point is really not terribly helpful at all to you. Mining is shitty. You basically absorb blocks by right-clicking and holding with the right mouse button. When you do this, your blob kind of outstretches his arms, and after a while of playing the most aggravating sound effect ever conceived in video games, the block fades away and it's added to your inventory. Or sometimes it just falls to the floor if you're not close enough to pick it up instantly. Now, imagine doing a lot of mining and listening to this incessantly. Sorry, I had to cut that off right there. Playing that sound any longer is actually a violation of the Geneva Convention. I'm serious, you'll end up in The Hague if you do it any longer than that. It's that bad. Combat is shitty. All you do is spam the left mouse button to do the same basic swing with your sword. Since right click is taken up with mining, there's no parry or any other special moves, just a single sword swing. Enemies are all on barbiturates or something. Their sword swings are so super slow you can just walk away from them before they connect. And this is combat. You just basically walking backwards, spamming sword swings until the enemies drop. Ugh, it's so boring. It's
Don't make a fuss. course, dear. I'll have your spam. I love it. I'm having spam, 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 spam. Spam, baked beans, spam, spam, and spam.
Baked beans are off!
Well, can I have spam instead?
You mean spam, 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 spam?
The AI sucks ass. Their pathfinding is just a straight line toward the player. They get hung up on scenery. They never flee or do anything other than make a complete beeline toward the player and attack. This is completely the opposite of the game's description of the AI, and I quote,
The AI is a key aspect of the game. We wanted the game to feel more like a game, so the AI verges on breaking the fourth wall with their random conversations about daily life as a dungeon minion. AI wander around, have conversations with each other, use doors, shout for assistance, hunt you down, steal your stuff, or just get so overwhelmed by your furious stabbing powers that they give up and flee.
This isn't true as of this build, at least. I've seen skeletons have a single idle conversation about decorating their cave or something. They do not call for help, they do not use doors, they do not do anything else that's meaningful at all. And back to the multiplayer only thing. This essentially means that you can never pause the game, even if you're playing by yourself on your own machine with nobody else around. Which would be fine if you had any reason to believe that you could join a multiplayer game. Like, you play single player, oh, but I can play multiplayer, no problem. No. Nobody's playing Orelight. You're playing a single player game regardless of what servers you're on. Check this out. And this. Look at this. The number of players is 0. This is because, quite predictably, being an indie early access game when there's hardly any development going on in the game isn't very far along, there's not enough people playing reliably to join a server and play with other people. This is primarily why their choice for multiplayer only is so ridiculous. There's not going to be anybody playing it multiplayer until it's finished and has a user base. There's nobody going to be playing this game. You're a small indie developer. You don't have a budget. There's going to be 8 people buying your early access game, and none of them are going to be playing at the same time. I could go on and on and on about this shitty, no fun game. The inventory system is crap. The chests are bugged and sometimes don't give you your stuff back. The crafting system is a shitty click fest. The stupid local chat that dings annoyingly with the same multiplayer hints over and over and over again, like, send up a red flare to call for help. Call for help from whom? There's nobody playing. Sorry. And there's also aggravating debug and ping information for online playing constantly in the upper corner there, if you take a look at the screen grabs. Oh, God. What's the verdict of this game? Fuck!
Have you got anything without spam in it? Well, spam, egg, sausage and spam. It's not got much spam in it. I don't want any spam.